Welcome to your March 2022 astrological forecast reading. My name is Cailin, and in this reading I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology. Now I'm going to do mini horoscopes for all 12 signs at the end of the reading, so make sure you look out for my comment in the comment box below with timestamps. Now before I get into the reading today, I just wanted to let you know that I'm having a flash sale on my 2022 yearly horoscopes. So these will be 30% off until the first week of March. So if you'd like to purchase your individual horoscope or all 12 horoscopes for 2022, please click on the link in the description box below. And now let's get into your reading. Now on the 3rd of March, Mercury and Saturn are going to form a conjunction at 18 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. So this can see you committing to learning something new. And that is because Saturn represents doing something in the long term, and it also represents making a commitment or a promise to something or someone. Mercury represents communications, taking short classes, and learning new practical skills. So maybe you're taking a series of short courses in order to advance your career. Or you could be learning something new which is related to astrology, technology, social media, or even humanitarian issues. And I'm saying that because of the sign of Aquarius itself. Now, given that 18 degrees is the Virgo degree, you may be studying the health impacts of social distancing, or perhaps you're looking at the health impacts of prolonged use of social media, and some of you may even be learning about mental health itself. Now, this conjunction represents concentrating very hard on something, and that is because Saturn represents you cutting out distractions in order to focus. Perhaps there's been a number of deadlines that you have been late in completing, and now it's crunch time and you need to work really hard on fulfilling these. This is a classic aspect which represents there being audits and problems which require fixing. Now, this would pertain to Aquarius-like topics. So Aquarius rules over social media, it represents the internet, it represents political parties and large groups and organizations. So if you work in an industry which is connected to one of those things, you can probably expect that there is some sort of audit which is going to take place, or there may be a series of tests or checks and balances that you need to carry out. Now, given that Mercury rules over communications and Saturn represents limitations and barriers, you may experience that there are communication barriers or language barriers between you and friends, which is indicated by the sign of Aquarius itself. Now, because this is at the Virgo degree, this could be about some sort of conflict which is taking place or a health matter, or this could even be connected to debts. And that is because Virgo is associated with debts and lending people money. Now, this could indicate that there is some sort of legal proceeding which you are looking to initiate or which is brought against you. Just remember that this is a super general prediction, so of course this won't apply to everyone, but for some of you this could just mean that you have to write some sort of formal letter which you are submitting to either a government body or a group or an organization, or maybe you have received some sort of penalty or a fine and now you are writing a letter to try and get this waived. Now, this transit is very much associated with new innovations and new technology, but there being some sort of glass ceiling here. And that is because Mercury is connected to new ideas and sales, and Aquarius is about doing something new. Saturn represents there being restrictions or there being some sort of regulation which is in place, which you need to either work around or which you need to come up with a strategy to basically get some sort of new technology or new innovation over the line so that you can start selling it. Now, given that Aquarius is an air sign, and then we've got this conjunction occurring at 18 degrees, which is the Virgo degree, this indicates that many of you may have made a promise, or you may have offered to do something for someone, and this could have been a long time ago, and now this person is basically coming to collect on this favor. And that is because Saturn and Mercury together can represent there being some kind of debt collection, especially because of this Virgo degree. Now, this is a huge reminder that words have consequences. So whatever you are saying around this time of the month, which once again is on the 3rd of March, your words may be transcribed, or they may be basically taken down in notes in a meeting, and someone may just come back to you and say, hey, remember when you said this, or remember when you promised that, and maybe you said it flippantly, but now there's some sort of paper trail which shows that you were on the record promising something. Now, on a collective level, the combination between Mercury and Saturn represents fact checking, and that is because Mercury rules over facts and information. Aquarius is about the distribution of information throughout communities and society, and of course Aquarius rules over social media, and Saturn rules over restricting and limiting. So the combination or the conjunction between these two planets spells out there being some sort of huge change when it comes to the way that social media platforms operate. So maybe we're going to start seeing penalties come through when it comes to fact checking or people saying things which are untrue or incorrect. So don't be surprised if social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram start having some very, very limiting rules and regulations when it comes to what you're allowed to post about and what you can't post about. And this is shown by the Virgo degree, which is associated with conflict or conflictual situations. And this could even lead there to being some sort of financial penalty. So maybe we're going to see some new laws coming through with regard to what kind of information people are distributing online. Now, this could be a precedent which is set, which basically allows government bodies to have a more pervasive ability to monitor social media platforms or even messaging systems. So this could be WhatsApp, Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and so on and so forth. Aquarius rules over text messaging and messages going back and forth, phone calls, and so on and so forth. So Saturn here could show that there is going to be new rules which allow government bodies or large corporations to read emails. I don't want to freak you guys out. There's always going to be ways around these things if they come into place. Again, this is a general reading. Now, a less extreme way that this could play out is that there may just be some new systems which require identification and authentication checks. So this may actually be to stop there being so many scamming accounts. Maybe there's going to be some more rigid or stringent checks when it comes to setting up new social media accounts. Now, also on the 2nd or 3rd of March, depending where you live in the world, we are going to see a new moon in Pisces take place at 12 degrees. The 12th degree in astrology is the Piscean degree. So not only do we have a new moon in Pisces at the Piscean degree, this new moon will be conjunct both of its rulers, which are Jupiter and Neptune. So there's going to be a lot of deep and healing energy which supports this new moon. This will be a perfect time for you to engage in some sort of spiritual practice. So this could be looking into astrology or tarot or getting some sort of spiritual reading. Now, this is also a great time for healing on such a deep and emotional level. So if you're really wanting to take advantage of this new moon energy, you may want to plant some seeds for what kind of healing journey you want to go on, or you may be wanting to enroll in some sort of astrology course, or you may be looking at Reiki or tarot or learning something new. And I'm saying that because the new moon will be conjunct Jupiter, which is the planet of wisdom and knowledge. This is a great time for new creative projects and artistic endeavors, and that is because Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and it is very much connected to music and the arts. This is a great time to set some new intentions when it comes to recreational substance usage, or even drinking. And that is because Neptune rules over drugs, pharmaceuticals, alcohol, and the new moon is a great time for you to make plans for what you want to do in the future. Now, because of this sextile to Uranus in Taurus, this represents that whatever you are starting around this point in time, it can have a very swift uptake. So for example, let's just say that you wanted to start a new artistic project around this period of time. You may actually complete it a lot sooner than what you thought. Or if you are trying to reduce your intake of certain substances, you may have a lot of success with this very early on in the piece. I would caution against wallowing in self-pity or doing self-destructive things, especially around this period of time, just because we have so much Neptunian energy here. What's interesting about this new moon in Pisces is that it falls into the Cancer Dwad, and Cancer rules over home and family. So this is a great time for you to set new intentions when it comes to your family. Or this could be about you setting new intentions for what you want to be doing in the home. Now, because Pisces is connected to donations and refugees and really helping people in need, you may actually find that friends are calling on you for emotional support during this time. Or maybe you're actually welcoming someone into your home who needs a safe space to live, or maybe it's just a temporary thing. So this could be for 1 month or 6 months or 18 months. And I'm saying that because there will be a full moon in Pisces in 6 months' time, and the next full moon in Pisces will be in 18 months' time. Now, on the 3rd and 4th of March, we are going to see Mars and Venus forming independent conjunctions with Pluto at 27 degrees. So with what I'm about to say, please know that these things can or may take place around these dates. It doesn't necessarily need to be on the date like we're watching the clock. Venus and Pluto conjunctions can lead to there being some sort of discovery when it comes to ancient art or music or something of an artistic nature. So just as an example, back in December in 2019, when we saw Venus and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn at 21 degrees, the earliest fossilized trees were found in Cairo, and these were 386 million years old. So we may be coming across some pretty amazing discoveries when it comes to things of an artistic nature or which involve archaeology. Now, these conjunctions between Venus, Mars, and Pluto can absolutely indicate some sort of natural disaster taking place. So again, this is a general prediction, but really if we're looking at the history of these conjunctions, we have seen things like earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. Now, if we look back to December 2019 with the Venus and Pluto conjunction, we saw Australia having the hottest day ever with an average temperature of 40.9 degrees Celsius. So this was across the country. I myself am in Australia, so this doesn't necessarily need to pertain to Australia. This is extreme weather across the board. So earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, lightning storms as well. I don't want to freak anyone out, but just know that these conjunctions can indicate these events taking place. Now, also in February in 2019, with the Venus and Pluto conjunction, we saw JP Morgan being the first bank to create its own cryptocurrency. So we're probably going to see some more activity surrounding cryptos, especially when this is connected to old and large institutions, whether this involves the monarchy, banks, governments, or even just any kind of old establishment. Before I continue, I just want to tell you that this is a trigger warning, that I will be talking about some very uncomfortable topics surrounding sexual abuse, crimes against humanity, and crimes against children as well. So if you want to skip this part, please refer to the timestamps in the description box below, because we will be discussing some pretty gnarly topics here. In the past, when we've seen Venus and Pluto forming a conjunction and Mars and Pluto forming a conjunction, there's basically been huge revelations which have taken place when it comes to really, really serious, uncomfortable, upsetting, and honestly evil topics. So just as an example, In February 2019, with the Venus and Pluto conjunction, there were more than 4,500 complaints of child sexual abuse against migrant children in the US, which were received by the US Health Department. So there may be some allegations which come up surrounding child abuse claims. Now, these conjunctions can indicate people actually being brought to justice, or at the very least, being exposed. So this is about events that have taken place in the past. This isn't necessarily about events that are yet to come. This is more about the discovery of information which was buried. And the reason I'm saying this is because the 27th degree in astrology is the Gemini degree. So this is about information and communication and really the distribution of these facts. Now, what's interesting is that the 27th degree in Capricorn falls into the Scorpio Dwad. So this represents that whatever's coming to light will have very Scorpionic themes, and that is supported by the conjunction to Pluto itself. And Scorpio and Capricorn together are connected to history and the past, and also secrets. So a lot of dirt, let's just say, can come up, which will be about crimes against humanity and also crimes against children. And I'm saying that because Gemini rules over children, and the 27th degree is the Gemini degree. So this is about unspeakable acts of evil that have been committed. And even though this is such a heavy topic, the silver lining here is that people are being brought to justice. This stuff is being purged, especially because we have the South Node in the sign of Scorpio. So this is about purging toxicity and information which has been buried and covered up. So there's going to be a lot of things coming out in the media or just online within the first week of March, or even towards the end of February or later in March itself. Now, given that this conjunction is taking place in the sign of Capricorn, let's have a look at what Saturn is doing, because Saturn rules over Capricorn. Saturn will be at 19 degrees in the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn will be in dignity because it rules over Aquarius. The 19th degree in astrology is the Libra degree. So this is about justice. This is about laws being upheld, and this is about being on the right side of the law. So I truly believe that people who have done the wrong thing and who need to be brought to justice will basically be unmasked to the public, as is shown by the sign of Aquarius itself, and there will be consequences for their actions. That's not to say that anything can really justify what has been done, especially if someone has been on the receiving end of abuse of any kind. But I just want to leave you guys with that knowledge, because I really do think that this is about people not getting away from the acts that they have committed. Now, lastly, with this conjunction taking place, I know a lot of you will be wondering about lockdowns, especially because it was back when Mars and Pluto formed a conjunction in March in 2020 at 24 degrees Capricorn that we saw lockdowns take place worldwide. Now, do I believe that we're going to go into another worldwide lockdown? No, I don't. And the reason for that is because the 24th degree in astrology is the Piscean degree, which is connected to isolation. So this conjunction is taking place at 27 degrees, which is the Gemini degree, which is about friendships, relatives, siblings, and our ability to move around and go on short journeys. So even though there may be some sort of new restrictions which take place around this particular point in time, I do think that there will be some level of movement which is available to people, given that this conjunction is taking place at the Gemini degree. Now, before I go on, I really just want to reassure you guys that general predictions are always a lot darker and more dramatic than personal predictions. So this is really about what's going on at a world level, but at a personal level, this is actually a huge indicator for large amounts of wealth. And that is because Venus is a planet which represents money, and Pluto is connected to mutual resources and obscene amounts of money and wealth. And Mars conjunct Pluto in Capricorn indicates that you could actually have some sort of new idea for self-made worth or for starting a new business. And that is because Gemini is connected to sales and commerce and business ideas. So if you have some sort of exciting new business venture which you want to look at pursuing, or if you're looking at your financial investments and doing something new, or even doing something with friends or siblings or relatives, this would be a great time for you to do so. Now, on the 6th of March, we are going to see Venus and Mars form a conjunction at 0 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. This is very, very interesting, and that is because we saw the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction take place in December 2020, also at 0 degrees in Aquarius. Essentially, we are currently in the age of Aquarius, and 0 degrees represents the most raw essence of a sign. So I actually see this as us being shown a little glimpse into the future. Not to mention, Pluto will enter the sign of Aquarius in March 2023. So again, we're going to see that 0 degrees being activated. Now, given that Aquarius is linked to social media, technology, robotics, new innovations, and new inventions, I see this as there being some new laws that will be passed which pertain to the usage of robotics, artificial intelligence, and mechatronics. And I'm saying this because the ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, and Saturn will be at 19 degrees at the time of this conjunction. And 19 degrees is the Libra degree, which represents passing new laws. Now, 19 degrees Aquarius falls into the Virgo Dwad, and Virgo represents work and being of service. So I really believe that we're going to start to see the beginnings of actually using robotics and artificial intelligence when it comes to work. So you could see this in hospitals, you could see this with regard to medicine, or even the military and the food chain supply. And I'm saying that because, first of all, Virgo rules over the health industry and the medical industry, but also Mars rules over the military. It rules over firefighters and police people, and also it is connected to engineering if we look at traditional astrology. Now, Venus represents food and money and currencies. So essentially, we're going to start to see the ways in which technological advancements, especially ones that involve robotics and AI, are going to be integrated into these areas of life, and especially the way in which governments will be using these pretty futuristic tools and new technologies. Now, on a different level, this represents there being a huge conversation and potentially laws being passed which pertain to gender identities. And I'm saying this because Venus rules over women, Mars rules over men, and Aquarius is a very androgynous sign, and this is about the blending of genders. So even though we've already seen a lot of this taking place over the last few years, we may see new laws coming through which pertain to gender identity and also what is and is not permitted in the workplace. So just as an example, maybe there's going to be a large-scale abolishment of female toilets or male toilets. Maybe it's just going to be a free-for-all. Now, another way that this conjunction can play out is that we could see new laws and rules and regulations which come in which pertain to digital currency and using cryptos and NFTs as a regular way of trading. And that is because Venus rules over money and wealth, and typically Venus is associated with things like paper money and coins and the kind of money that you can hold. Now, because this is in the sign of Aquarius, maybe we're going to be looking at a glimpse into the future when it comes to, I don't want to really say it, but I'm just going to say it, a cashless society. I know that people have some very strong opinions about this, but you know, I'm just a messenger. This is just an astrology video, so take that any which way you will. Now, another way that that could play out is that maybe the government is going to be looking into some new research when it comes to how they can use cryptocurrencies and NFTs in a way which is going to benefit them. And I really think that we're going to see some kind of huge development take place in the crypto world and in the NFT world around the end of July, when we see the Uranus and North Node conjunction in Taurus. And if you want to know more about that, please subscribe to this channel, because I'm wanting to do a video just on this topic alone. That conjunction only takes place every 15 years and it will not take place again in the sign of Taurus. So for all you crypto people out there, just keep an eye out as to what is happening around the first week of March, and also what is coming through around the 31st of July. Now, on the 18th of March, we are going to see a full moon take place at 27 degrees in the sign of Virgo. Now, this full moon will actually be making an opposition to Mercury, which is the ruler of the full moon, and it will also be opposing Jupiter and Neptune. So given that Neptune is the closest in opposition, this is about some sort of conflictual situation being dissolved. So basically, full moons indicate the ending of a chapter or a cycle taking place somewhere in our lives. Because this is happening in the sign of Virgo, this could pertain to your work environment. So some of you may be walking away from a job. Maybe you no longer have to carry out some sort of unpleasant task or responsibility. Maybe one of your employees will be resigning. On a different level, if you have renters, this lease may be ending. This could happen naturally, or perhaps your tenant will be breaking their lease. Now, this can also pertain to debts and services. So maybe you have paid off a debt. Maybe someone else will pay it for you. And I'm saying this because Neptune is associated with donations and helping other people. So it could be that someone in your life helps you out by fulfilling one of your obligations, or they could be paying off a monetary debt. Now, with regard to health, you may find that you are healed from some sort of unknown issue. So maybe there was a mystery illness, or maybe there was some sort of health ailment that you had and that you didn't know how to treat, and now it's just sort of mysteriously dissipated. Or perhaps you have seen a spiritual healer, or maybe you have investigated some sort of alternative form of health treatment or a health plan. The reason I'm focusing so much on health is not just because of the sign of Virgo itself, but it's because this full moon is conjunct the fixed star Zavijava, which is a very strong star when it comes to medicine. So for those of you who have a 27-degree moon, sun, or ascendant, or even midheaven, you may actually have some sort of medical prowess or ability that you may want to look at investigating further. Now, this could see there being some sort of conflictual situation that is resolved, or maybe the balance is going to be restored in some way. So some of you may have had an argument or a disagreement, or maybe even quarrels over money or resources, and this could be with siblings, relatives, friends, or even your neighbors. And I'm saying that because the 27th degree is the Gemini degree, which represents those individuals. Now, the fixed star Zavijava in a day birth chart can represent cheating and tricking and lying and basically deceptiveness. So for those of you who feel as though you have been tricked or deceived or misled, especially when it comes to some sort of medical situation, you may actually discover the information and the facts and the knowledge that you have been seeking. And again, we're seeing this emphasized by the fact that Zavijava is associated with medicine. The 27th degree represents Gemini, which represents information, and this full moon will be opposing Mercury. So any kind of medical facts that you have been seeking may be able to come to light around this particular point in time. Now, on the 19th of March, we are going to see Venus in Aquarius making a square to Uranus in Taurus at 12 degrees. Then on the 22nd/23rd of March, we're going to see Mars in Aquarius making the same square to Uranus in Taurus at 12 degrees. So I'm going to cover these two transits together. Now, although Venus square Uranus would ordinarily present as a very challenging aspect, this aspect is actually helped by the fact that these two planets will be in mutual reception with one another. And that is because Venus is in Aquarius's sign, while Uranus is in a Venus-ruled sign. So these two planets are actually working in tandem to support one another. Nonetheless, Uranus will always represent some sort of shocking and tumultuous energy. So this can present as a hidden blessing or perhaps an opportunity arising that you don't really feel ready for. But let's talk about relationships first, as represented by Venus. So this transit can absolutely impact your romantic relationship or your friendships or even just your relationships with other people in general. Now, because of this Venus squared to Uranus, you may find that a relationship which was off is suddenly back on, or one that has been on the rocks is suddenly basically dead in the water. So sorry to put it so bluntly, but essentially this has an on and off energy, and maybe this is coming through as someone doing something which is relatively shocking or unplanned. Maybe you're not expecting a sudden gesture from someone that you've been dating. Maybe a person wants to either pump the brakes or move things a little bit quicker than what you were expecting. Even in business connections and platonic relationships, this has the same energy where essentially you and the other person have the same end goal, but you're not necessarily on the same page or on the same wavelength. Another way that this can play out is that you may be announcing a personal relationship or connection that you have with another person, either to your friends, to a community or a group, or even online. And this could be a very shocking relationship, or there could be a little bit of pushback from people in your wider network. Now, Venus represents finances, and Venus in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus has digital currency written all over it. So for some of you, there could be some big highs and big lows when it comes to cryptos and NFTs. The way that I would read this on a more general level is that more popular and well-known coins may experience an unexpected dip, whereas smaller, lesser-known coins may experience a sudden rise or a sudden spike. Now, just with finances and resources in general, this represents an opportunity for some sort of windfall of abundance, but it is highly likely that a degree of risk will be involved here, as is indicated by this square between Mars and Uranus. Even though these two squares are happening on different days, the fact that they happen at the same degree means that they are interconnected. So perhaps you may have to disappoint someone. Maybe you're disappointing a friend or a group or a community in order to cash in on some sort of exciting new opportunity that comes through for you. Now, another way that this can play out is that there may be some hidden expenses which you have to pay. And I'm saying this because the 12th degree in astrology is the Piscean degree, which is associated with large monetary expenses. Now, this is a huge warning for all of you to please be very careful of online scammers and having your passwords hacked or your identity or your personal information being hacked. And I'm saying this because the 12th degree in astrology carries the energy of people not being what they seem, people trying to take advantage or exploit others, and essentially we are seeing a huge rise of people impersonating others online, whether these are astrologers or psychics or tarot readers, and people are basically seeking out anyone that they can find to try and basically get money off them without providing any kind of service. So just be careful about engaging these services of people online. Just make sure that they have all their credentials in check, and of course you just want to make sure that you are protecting your own finances and resources and your personal information. Now, on a more personal level, this transit or these two transits will impact you in the best way possible if you have a very open mind and a certain sense of adaptability here. And that is because Venus square Uranus or Mars square Uranus can actually just lead to you having to take action prematurely, whether this is to do with an important decision that you need to make, whether this is to do with entering into some sort of business relationship or a collaborative relationship. Essentially, the square to Uranus comes through as the shock, but because we have that mutual reception between Venus and Uranus, this could really work in your favor. Now, on the 20th/21st of March, we are going to see the Sun enter the sign of Aries. So this indicates the beginning of the new astrological year. So if the start to your 2020 was pretty rubbish, you can pretty much just say, hey, the last 4 months don't really count because this is a real start to the year. So this is why people around the commencement of Aries season feel like they have more energy, more vitality, they start setting new goals. This is a great time for you to make new goals when it comes to your work, business, taking action, getting fit, getting healthy, or literally anything which will require you to either put yourself out there, use your body in a physical way, or perhaps some sort of action which is going to require you to be courageous in some way, shape, or form. Now, on the 21st of March, we are going to see Mercury and Jupiter form a conjunction at 18 degrees in the sign of Pisces. I love this because this represents an opportunity for you to form new relationships. So these could be new friends, new business connections, new acquaintances, new co-workers, and for some of you, this could also indicate a new romantic relationship. The reason why I'm saying that is because 18 degrees Pisces falls into the Libra duad. So this represents a very meaningful partnership or connection with another person. Now, this can see you making friends or new connections with people of the international variety. And I'm saying that because Jupiter represents foreign countries and international relations. So this could be with someone who is either of a very different cultural background to you, or perhaps they actually just live in a different country. Now, you may meet this person, if not online or in the workplace, as represented by the Virgo degree. This could be meeting them at a retreat or at a hotel. It could even be meeting someone at a hospital or even at a prison. Now, another way that this can play out is that a new teacher-mentor relationship could be commencing. And that is because Jupiter and Mercury are both planets which indicate learning something new, and both of them rule over teachers. Now, you could just be learning something new as it is, which is connected to spirituality, medicine, esoteric knowledge, or even film or media. Some of you may be looking at learning a new language, and this language is likely to be very different from your mother tongue. What I mean by that is if your first language is Spanish, you're not really going to go out there and be learning Italian. This is more of like a totally different language to what you were born speaking. Now, it could be that you're learning about some sort of spiritual gifts which have been passed on throughout your ancestry, and this is more likely to be on your father's side. Now, some of you may be looking at going on an international trip, or perhaps you're just starting to put the wheels in motion to make plans to go on a trip. On a different level, this is a great time to initiate conversations about writing a new book or looking at starting up a new relationship with a publishing agent or a publishing agency. And that is because Mercury rules over writing and communications, and Jupiter is connected to publishing. Now, Jupiter also represents import and export, and Mercury rules over sales and commerce. So this would be an amazing time for you to look at shipping internationally if you, for example, have an online store, or perhaps you're looking at getting involved in a very global company or one which is very well known. Now, lastly, for the month on the 28th or the 29th of March, depending where you live in the world, Venus and Saturn will form a conjunction at 21 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. So this particular conjunction will pose difficulties when it comes to differences in your world beliefs within your friendships, or perhaps within your relationships with people in your wider network. And I'm saying that because the 21st degree in astrology is associated with Sagittarius, which represents your world beliefs and your political beliefs and your beliefs surrounding religion. Now, given that this is falling within the Libra dwad, again, this represents there being some sort of discord within certain relationships or partnerships when it comes to social justice issues or give and take within your relationships. But it certainly doesn't need to be negative. Venus conjunct Saturn can represent you forming some sort of long-lasting and long-standing relationship with a friend or with someone in your group or community. Or perhaps you are entering into a new group or a community and maybe you need to make some sort of official pledge to be with them. So just as an example, maybe you need to register your details in order to get certain benefits from being a member of a certain group or community. Or on a different level, this could see some of you forming a new romantic relationship with someone who is a friend and with someone who either has a significant age gap with you, either or, and this could be with a Capricorn or an Aquarius. So that's all I've got for you for March, but now I'm going to get into the mini horoscopes so you can refer to your sun, moon, or rising by looking at the timestamps in the description box below. Hi Aries, Sun, Moon and Risings. Good news for you, from the 20th / the 21st of March, you're going to start feeling a lot more like yourselves. Unfortunately for you guys, we haven't had any planets in fire signs since, well, sometime in February. So essentially the first 3 weeks of March, you will still be feeling like you're a little bit out of sorts, or maybe there's a lot of plans that you have that you're not really feeling like you can act on. But then once your season commences, you'll be feeling more energized and more revitalized. Now on the 5th / 6th of March, depending where you live in the world, we are going to see the Sun and Jupiter conjunction take place in your 12th house. So for those of you who are looking for some sort of green light when it comes to pursuing something of an artistic nature, or perhaps you're looking at entering into the hotel industry or doing something with spiritual retreats or spirituality or yoga, or even looking at expanding your business internationally or traveling internationally, this Sun-Jupiter conjunction can see you actually being able to act on these plans, if not put them into motion. Now on the 21st of March, we're going to have the Mercury and Jupiter conjunction take place at 18 degrees in Pisces in your 12th house. So this is when you can be receiving some sort of message from the other side, or maybe you are having downloads of information taking place while you're either sleeping or meditating, or maybe you are just by yourself in your bedroom and then you're suddenly having these really exciting ideas come through with regard to business ideas or learning something new. Or maybe you have ideas about what you want to do with your work, or maybe you're looking at engaging the services of people who can help you or collaborate with you in some way. In any case, March will be an exciting point in time for you pretty much after the 3rd week. So just hold out for then if you are feeling a little bit out of sorts, because things will start feeling a lot better for you later in the month. Now, if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel. If you want to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Hi, my fellow Taurians, Sun, Moon and Risings. We have a lot to look forward to in March, and that is because of this conjunction between the Sun and Jupiter on the 5th / 6th of March in your 11th house. And this is occurring at 14 degrees, which is the Taurus degree. So essentially, with this conjunction occurring in your 11th house of friendships and networks, many of you Taurians will be making new friends or new business connections, or you may actually find that there is someone who wants to invest in your business. So essentially, Jupiter rules over the 11th house and it also rules over the 8th house. And both of these are money houses in astrology. So if you've been struggling financially or if you've been looking at going into business with another person, this could be coming through with the Sun and Jupiter conjunction. Even if you're not looking at things from a career perspective, I do see this as being a very auspicious date when it comes to socializing. So if there is some sort of event or party and it's, okay for you to attend, I would be saying yes to this because this could have a very positive impact on you. Now, on the 21st of March, we are going to see Mercury and Jupiter forming a conjunction in your 11th house. So again, this can lead to new friendships taking place, or you may have some exciting new ideas that are coming through with regard to your finances and what you want to invest money in, or perhaps you will be receiving some sort of financial assistance from a friend. Now, because Mercury rules over your 5th house, which is Virgo, this could see you actually forming a romantic connection with someone who is in your wider network. So you may meet someone online that you start dating, or perhaps a friendship with someone could turn romantic. In any case, like I said, March is an exciting month for us Taurians. So if you enjoyed this horoscope and you want to see more next month, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. And if you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Risings. This is such an exciting month for us. Yes, I'm a Gemini rising myself, and essentially these two conjunctions between the Sun and Jupiter and Mercury and Jupiter occurring in your 10th house indicates that on some level there will be a change in your reputation or in your status. So this can affect you on the career front, on the personal relationship front, and even on your living circumstances. So let's start from the start though. On the 5th/6th of March, the Sun and Jupiter will be conjunct at 14 degrees Pisces in your 10th house. Jupiter rules over your 7th house, which represents your one-on-one relationships. And it also rules over your 10th house anyway, which represents your life goals and your career. So with the Sun ruling over your 3rd house, which represents communications and your friendships and your co-workers, some of you may be entering into a new collaboration, and this could lead to a lot of positive attention surrounding you. And that is because the Sun is the most visible planet in astrology and Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So this conjunction can lead to there being some sort of rapid expansion when it comes to your reputation, whether this is for career or just on a personal level. And I'm saying that because Jupiter represents expansion, and in the sign of Pisces, this is really boundarylessness. So if you have some sort of communications piece that you've written, or if there's something that you're doing for work, or if you've entered into a new relationship with another person, this could become public knowledge very, very quickly, or your popularity could increase very, very quickly. Now, on the 21st of March, we are going to see Mercury, which is your ruling planet, being conjunct Jupiter at 18 degrees in your 10th house. Mercury rules over your 1st house, which represents you, and it also rules over your 4th house, which represents your living circumstances, property, and your family life. So this conjunction between Mercury and Jupiter can see your reputation or your status changing when it comes to where you are living. Maybe you are becoming a homeowner for the first time. Maybe you are becoming a property investor for the first time. Or perhaps you have become a parent, and now this is obviously part of your status, because the 10th house in astrology represents our status, which is irrefutable. So what I mean by that is a person is either married or they're not. They're either a parent or they're not. So it's the way that you are spoken about definitively. And of course, with Jupiter ruling over your 7th house, this could just mean that some of you have entered into a marriage or a long-term partnership, or even just a relationship of any sort, and now this is becoming public knowledge and it is part of your status. In any case, some of you may be having some very, very exciting ideas when it comes to what you want to do professionally speaking, or even with regard to your life goals. So this absolutely does not need to only pertain to those of you who are still in the workforce. Even if you've retired or if you're between jobs, some of you may be having some sort of exciting new conversation or relationship taking place, which is going to aid you in your desires to fulfill certain life goals and dreams that you may have. So Gemini, if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a like and please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope on sale, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Gemini, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Cancer, Sun, Moon and Risings. There's a lot going on with regard to your personal relationships in March, and that is because we're going to have this Venus and Pluto and Mars and Pluto conjunction in the sign of Capricorn in your 7th house. So for those of you who are already in romantic relationships, your partner could be going through a lot of changes in their life. So you may have to give more support to your partner, you may need to be there for them more, or you could actually take your relationship from the dating status to a more committed relationship. And I'm saying that because Mars rules over your 5th house, which is the house of romance and dating. And then we've got this conjunction in your 7th house, and the 7th house represents your long-term committed relationships. But for those of you who aren't dating and who are not in a romantic relationship, this month can basically just see you having a lot of personal relationships either forming, or there may be a lot of communications back and forth between you, your friends, and people who you're doing business with. Some of you may very well enter into a new collaboration or a new business partnership with another person. Now, with the Sun and Jupiter forming a conjunction at 14 degrees in Pisces in your 9th house, some of you Cancerians may find that you have some sort of newly restored hope for your vision for the future. And that is because Jupiter rules over your 9th house, and the 9th house is connected to your world beliefs and your vision for your future, and it also represents your belief in a higher faith. So whatever it is that you believe in, if you have been doubting your faith, if you have been doubting your beliefs about how the world works, you could have some sort of spiritual experience or religious experience which restores your sense of faith in this higher purpose or this higher being. Now on the 21st of March, we are going to see Mercury and Jupiter form a conjunction at 18 degrees in Pisces in your 9th house. So this can see you Cancerians forming relationships, whether these are working relationships or friendships, with someone who is of a different cultural background to you, or they could live abroad, or these individuals could basically just have a different way of seeing the world. In any case, Mercury and Jupiter conjunctions are quite lucky in nature in that we can experience some sort of new idea or breakthrough when it comes to expanding our current set of skills or our current level of knowledge. So March will be a very big month for learning new things, for meeting new people who are of a very different cultural background to you. And this will also be a great month for anything which involves international travel, publishing, import and export, and also education. So Cancer, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel. And if you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope on sale, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Leo, Sun, Moon and Risings. March presents one of the most auspicious dates of the year for you, and that is the Sun and Jupiter conjunction in Pisces in your 8th house. The Sun and Jupiter only form a conjunction once per year, and this is really such a golden day for you because the Sun is your ruling planet. So with this occurring in your 8th house, you may find that some much needed assistance comes through from another person, and that is because the 8th house is connected to your mutual resources, and Jupiter rules over your 8th house, and Jupiter is a very lucky planet which is associated with wealth and abundance. So if you have needed financial assistance for one reason or another, this can come through in the form of another person. And also for those of you who are looking to fall pregnant, this is actually a very potent date for that, and that is because Jupiter rules over your 8th house in Pisces, and it rules over your 5th house in Sagittarius. And when Jupiter conjuncts your ruling planet, this is a key indicator for falling pregnant. And of course, the 5th house is associated with children. The Sun and Jupiter are both associated with children, and the 8th house is connected to conception and pregnancy. Now, on the 21st of March, Mercury and Jupiter will form a conjunction at 18 degrees in Pisces in your 8th house. So this is another relatively lucky date for you Leos when it comes to combining your resources with another person, or certainly if you're looking for financial assistance or the help of someone else's much needed resources, this can come through. Now, given that Mercury rules over your 2nd house, which represents your finances and your valuables and possessions, and it also rules over your 11th house, which is connected to your friends and older siblings, this assistance or help could come through in the form of a friend or a sibling who is most likely your older sibling. On a different level though, this can actually see you having a very intimate conversation with a friend or with a sibling, and this could actually really help you to bolster your sense of self-worth or your self-esteem. So look out for the 5th and the 21st of March, because these will be very lucky dates of the month for you Leos. And so Leo, that's all I have for you for March 2022. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope on sale, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Leo, and I will see you guys next time. Hi, beautiful Virgo sun, moon, and risings. March is a very, very lucky month when it comes to your one-on-one relationships. And that is because we are going to have both the Sun and Jupiter conjunction and the Mercury and Jupiter conjunction take place in your 7th house. So let's have a look at the former. On the 5th/6th of March, depending where you live in the world, the Sun and Jupiter will form a conjunction at 14 degrees in Pisces in your 7th house. So this indicates that for those of you who are in a committed relationship, your significant other could come into the spotlight for one reason or another. This is likely to be with regard to their career or with some sort of achievement. Now, on a more personal level, this can see you forming a friendship or a connection or a collaboration with someone who is very well regarded in their career or who has some sort of star-like quality or presence about them. Or maybe this is with someone who is very well known or someone who is very popular. And I'm saying that because the Sun represents the qualities of that individual and Jupiter represents there being a sort of benevolence that surrounds this person, or perhaps they just have a lot of influence. Now, because the Sun rules over your 12th house, which is connected to that which is secret and hidden, maybe you have to keep this connection or this collaboration with this individual under wraps for now. On a different level, you could have a very successful business transaction or business deal, or perhaps you are receiving some sort of positive outcome with a court ruling. Now, on the 21st of March, Mercury, which is your ruling planet, will form a conjunction with Jupiter at 18 degrees in Pisces in your 7th house. So what I'm about to say next will have very similar tones to what I said for Gemini. Essentially, this can see you signing a new contract when it comes to your living circumstances, whether this is buying a property, selling a property, signing a new lease, or doing something which which pertains to property. On a different level though, you could be moving in with another person, or they could be moving in with you. You could be entering into a long-term committed relationship with another person, and this could be either a business relationship, as indicated by the fact that Mercury rules over your 10th house, which represents your career, or this could actually be a romantic relationship or a personal relationship. And I'm saying that because Jupiter rules over your 7th house. So essentially, you will feel this very strongly, and the closer you have your Virgo sun, moon, or rising to 18 degrees, the more powerful this transit is going to be for you. In any case, I do see this as being a very fortunate date for signing new contracts and entering into new collaborations and business relationships. And once again, that is on the 21st of March. So Virgo, if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope on sale, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Virgo, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Libra, Sun, Moon and Risings. You guys are very much impacted by the transits for this month, and that is because your ruling planet Venus is involved in a couple of conjunctions. So essentially in the first week of the month, we're going to have Venus and Mars and Pluto forming a conjunction at 27 degrees in Capricorn. So some of you may be relocating around this time. You may be having some very deep and important conversations with either your family members, people that you live with, or even your significant other. Maybe you're going to be having some hard-hitting conversations about children, whether you want to have them, whether you don't want to have them, and if your children are already grown up, there may just be some familial matters that you're dealing with them. Now, on a different level, with Venus and Mars forming a conjunction in Aquarius on the 6th of March in your 5th house, this can see some of you Libras either starting to date someone new, or you could be embarking on a new hobby, or you could be starting your own business, or if you already own your own business, you could actually be looking at introducing some new services or trying something new with this new business. Now lastly, given that we're going to have the Sun and Jupiter forming a conjunction in Pisces on the 5th/6th of March, and then we're going to have Mercury and Jupiter forming a conjunction on the 21st of March, your 6th house is very, very activated, and the 6th house is connected to your daily habits, your work, and your health. So for those of you who have been struggling with some sort of health issue or health ailment, fortunately, these two conjunctions can indicate that some of you may experience a reprieve of a health issue. If not, you may have the health issue dissipate altogether. On a different level though, you may actually come into some sort of information or knowledge which can help you with regard to pursuing the right form of treatment for you. Lastly though, this transit can see you starting a new job, or perhaps you're welcoming a new employee on board, or maybe you're looking at implementing some new daily habits and routines, and I would expect you to have much success with this given this helpful hand that Jupiter is lending you. And so Libra, if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Risings. March will be a very active month for you because your ruling planets Mars and Pluto will be involved in a series of aspects and conjunctions. So looking at the Venus, Mars and Pluto conjunction taking place in Capricorn in your 3rd house in the first week of the month, this indicates an opportunity for you to enroll in a new course, network with other people, and do something creative which could lead to a money generating service, or this could even be a product that you're looking at selling. And I'm saying that because Mars rules over your 6th house, which represents your work, and the 3rd house is connected to self-made worth and sales, with Venus ruling over your 7th house and being in the 3rd house, which are both business houses and collaborative houses in astrology, you may actually be making new friends or new business connections. Now, on a different level, with Venus and Mars forming a conjunction in Aquarius in your 4th house, this indicates that there may be some movement when it comes to what you're doing with your living circumstances. So maybe you've got someone moving in, maybe you've got someone moving out, maybe you are signing contracts to relocate, or maybe you're putting your property on the market. Obviously, I said similar things for Libra, and that is because they had their ruling planet forming a conjunction in Capricorn in the 4th house as well. So if you're a Scorpio and Libra, this is a double whammy when it comes to changes taking place within your property and living circumstances. Now, with this Sun and Jupiter conjunction taking place in the sign of Pisces, and this occurring in your 5th house, this indicates that something very, very positive can happen to you with regard to romance, dating, or perhaps even something positive can happen to one of your children. Now, the 5th house is connected to our hobbies and passions, so you may have some sort of breakthrough when it comes to a creative project that you are working on. In any case, March will be a very, very active month for you Scorpios. So Scorpio, if you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. The focus for you will absolutely be on your home life, your family life, your property and your living circumstances. And that is because your ruling planet Jupiter will be forming a conjunction with the Sun in your 4th house in Pisces, and it will also be forming a conjunction with Mercury in your 4th house in Pisces. So the first conjunction between the Sun and Jupiter will take place on the 5th/6th of March, depending where you live in the world. So with the Sun ruling over your 9th house, which is Leo, this indicates that you may be relocating abroad, or you could be purchasing property in a foreign country, or perhaps someone of a different cultural background to you, so a foreigner, could be moving in with you. On a different level though, this could see you realizing or actualizing your dreams for your property, or maybe you are deciding where you want to live and you may be making plans for how you can basically see this come to fruition. On a different level, this transit could lead to your family expanding further, whether this is you having children, your partner having children, or maybe you're welcoming grandchildren into your life. Now, both the Sun and Jupiter in astrology represent children, so perhaps you are actually taking a child in. Maybe you are adopting, fostering, or maybe you're looking after someone else's child for the time being. On a different level though, this can see you having some sort of huge breakthrough on a psychological level. So maybe you are letting go of some sort of past traumatic experiences, especially which occurred in your childhood or with regard to your family, or maybe you're having some sort of breakthrough with one of your family members. Now, on the 21st of March, Mercury and Jupiter will form a conjunction at 18 degrees in Pisces in your 4th house. So Jupiter is your ruling planet. It also rules over the 4th house, and then you've got Mercury ruling over your 7th house and your 10th house. So because this is occurring in your 4th house, this indicates that another person may be moving in with you, or you could be working from home, or you could be starting your own business from home yourself. On a different level though, this could see you seeking out new information or knowledge when it comes to your ancestry and your lineage. And that is because the 4th house represents all of your past ancestors, no matter which side they are on. On a different note, this could see you signing contracts for a property purchase. And I know I've mentioned this for a few of the other signs, and that is because there is some overlap there. And so Sagittarius, if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Sagittarius, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Risings. I don't want any of you guys to freak out at all about the Venus, Mars and Pluto conjunction occurring in Capricorn in your 1st house around the 3rd of March. And that is because this presents an opportunity for you to make some serious changes with regard to your career, your friendships, your dating life, what's going on with your relationship with your children, and also your current living circumstances. And I'm saying that because Mars rules over your 4th house and your 11th house, and Venus rules over your 10th house and your 5th house. So given that this conjunction is occurring in your 1st house, this indicates to me that you have a lot more control over these areas of your life than what you are giving yourself credit for. So if you have been wanting to make some really important changes with regard to where you are living, what you're doing for work, who you're dating, what your relationship is like with your children, like I mentioned, and also your friendships, this is the moment for you to take action. So you have a lot of potent and powerful energy behind you to start initiating things and recognizing that the time is right for you to plant the seeds for which you want to grow in your life. Now, on a different level, with the Sun and Jupiter forming a conjunction in Pisces in your 3rd house, this indicates that this would be a great time for you to look at expanding your business and selling yourself. And I'm saying that because the 3rd house is connected to sales and it is connected to self-made worth, and Jupiter expands whatever it touches. Now, because the Sun rules over your 8th house in astrology, which is your Leo house, this indicates that you would have a lot of success if you were to combine your resources with another person. Now, this doesn't necessarily need to be your financial resources. This could actually just be you collaborating with another person who has much needed skills that they can use to help you, or perhaps they may even be teaching you to do something. Now, on the 21st of March, we're going to see Mercury and Jupiter form a conjunction at 18 degrees in Pisces in your 3rd house. So this presents a great opportunity for you to network with people who are either of a different cultural background to you, or to network with your co-workers. And I'm saying that because Mercury rules over your 9th house, which is Virgo, and it rules over your 6th house, which is Gemini. Now, another way that this can play out is that if you are wanting to apply for permanent residency or a visa or paperwork or documents which are connected to international travel, this would be a good time for you to lodge the application. And I'm saying that because Jupiter is connected to travel and international relations, and Mercury rules over your 9th house, which is also connected to international travel. Another way that this could play out is that you may be looking to learn something new or enroll in a higher level of education, and again, around the 21st of March would be a good time for you to do that. And so Capricorn, if you enjoyed this horoscope and if you'd like to see more content on this channel, please subscribe to the channel and please hit the like button. And if you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Capricorn, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. One of the most exciting transits for the whole year for you personally is going to take place on the 6th of March, and that is the Venus and Mars conjunction at 0 degrees Aquarius. So with this conjunction occurring in your 1st house, this indicates that you will have a lot of personal autonomy and freedom with regard to making some exciting new decisions. Now, Venus rules over your 4th house and your 9th house, and then we've got Mars ruling over your 3rd house and your 10th house. So this indicates that there are likely to be one or more new beginnings or a new chapter starting in your life which pertains to your career, your friendships, international travel, your education, family, and your property and living circumstances. So maybe you're looking at learning something new. Maybe you're looking at becoming self-employed. Maybe you'll be making some exciting new friendships around this point in time. In fact, because Aquarius is the sign of friendship itself, I imagine that this would be highly likely for majority of you Aquarians. So watch out to see who is entering your life around the first week of March. Now, also around this time on the 5th/6th of March, we are going to see the Sun and Jupiter forming a conjunction at 14 degrees in Pisces, and this will be in your 2nd house. So this indicates that there may be some sort of new stream of income which is coming through for you, or you may actually receive either a bonus, a lump sum of money, or there could just be an increase in your finances and your resources, or perhaps you're actually investing in something new. So you could be investing in gold, just as an example, because the sun rules over gold. On a different level, we're going to see Jupiter and Mercury forming a conjunction on the 21st of March, and this will be in your second house as well. So again, your finances are going to be a big area of focus for you for pretty much the whole month. So this could see you actually looking at educating yourself when it comes to things like speculative investments and the stock market. And I'm saying that because Mercury rules over the 5th house and the 8th house, which are connected to those matters. And so Aquarius, I hope you have an amazing March. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next time. Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon and Risings. You guys are really in the spotlight for March, and that is because it will still be your season for the first 3 weeks of the month. So you'll be feeling more energized and more revitalized, and you may be receiving a lot of compliments for the first 3 weeks of the month. Now on the 5th/6th of March, depending where you live in the world, we are going to see the Sun and Jupiter, which is your ruling planet, form a conjunction at 14 degrees Pisces in your first house. The Sun and Jupiter only form a conjunction once a year, and you won't have seen the Sun being conjunct your ruling planet in your actual sign in your first house for about 12 years. So you may actually receive some sort of blessing on your health, and I'm saying that because the Sun is connected to your vitality, Jupiter has a very healing energy, and the Sun rules over your 6th house, and the 6th house represents your health. So for those of you who have been struggling with a health issue or a health ailment, this could be a period of time where you experience some sort of reprieve, or you could actually have a health breakthrough. Now, on a different level, the Sun rules over your 6th house, which represents your work. So you could actually be receiving some sort of praise or positive acknowledgement for a job well done. You may actually receive a promotion or some positive feedback from your boss. Now, on the 21st of March, we are going to see your ruling planet Jupiter and Mercury form a conjunction at 18 degrees in Pisces in your first house. Now, again, Jupiter is your ruling planet, so you will be feeling this transit quite strongly. Mercury rules over your 4th house and your 7th house, whereas Jupiter rules over your 1st house and your 10th house. So what this means is that you could be coming into the spotlight for something that you've done with work, as indicated by the 10th house, or this could be with relation to your life goals or your life purpose, or you could actually have a new relationship take place with another person, and you could feel like this person is a very, very important part of your life. This doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic connection, although it could be. Some of you may just be forming a new friendship around this time, and once again, that would be because Mercury rules over your 7th house. Lastly, with this transit, Mercury represents you receiving ideas or having an important conversation with another person. And because Mercury rules over your 4th house, which is related to property, your living circumstances, and your family life, you could be having an important conversation with a family member, or this could be with your significant other about starting a family, or you could actually be looking at relocating. Now, you may be buying a property, you could be selling a property, or you could just be signing a new lease, or you could just be living with someone else for the time being. Essentially, when we see your 1st house and your 4th house being activated, this can really indicate there being some significant changes to your family life and to your current living circumstances. In any case, there are some real highlights for March for you Pisceans, so I hope you have a great month. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next time.